What's up, guys and gals? It's time for the latest piece of One Piece, chapter 1122. The time is at hand. Now, we're hitting pause. I don't know why so many people thought the Yamato cover story is just over. We're doing a cover request and stuff. It's like, you know, I just wish people would read for more than 5 seconds, you know what I mean? But a certain boy drew a fan art of Smoker 22 years ago. Please recreate it, sort of idea. It's, once again, it's even got Hero written right there and all that stuff. Like, it's My Hero Academia is over as of this issue. Horikoshi's the one who submitted fan art 22 years ago and stuff. Ended up becoming a mangaka in his own right and all these things. And though I'm not the biggest My Hero Academia fan, some of the arcs were incredible, and I think My Hero Academia is very good and good on Horikoshi. 10 years, that's solid. That's absolutely solid. And obviously, Oda has done this before. He did it when Naruto ended. He did it when he reached the milestone with Dragon Ball at chapter 500 and something. Anyway, he's done this before. I'm not sure if he did anything for Bleach, but yes, he's always done this sort of idea for any of his friends in the manga community or anything major and stuff like that. So yeah, this is all this is. The Yamato stuff, I'm sure, will continue next issue. Of course, it's break next week and stuff, but yeah. So anyways, really cool. Smoker looking absolutely badass and incredible and stuff. Too bad he's obviously fallen in pedigree, but once again, Smoker being awesome. So anyway, that's for the whole Horikoshi thing, My Hero Academia. I did read the last chapter and stuff like that. Yeah, but I wasn't really keeping up with My Hero Academia after I guess this whole last arc, after Stars and Stripes. Once the Stars and Stripes stuff happened, I fell off My Hero Academia and I didn't keep up with it anymore. But I did read the last few chapters and stuff. And once again, though it's not my complete cup of tea, there was some greatness in MHA. So anyways, but we're here to talk about a One Piece today. And chapter 1122. 1122. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, the message is, I'm going to say it, finally over. There's no real more new or more information that we actually gain. Just people around the world. The Navy has to do something. The country's going to sing, let's go. The One Piece is out there. You know, we have both citizens and pirates and everybody, all walks of life going like, the One Piece, let's go. It's, once again, it's what Roger did. It's what Whitebeard did. And now Vegapunk has done it as well by jacking the entire world's Wi-Fi network and basically made them all basically say, yeah, so this is the deal and stuff. The world's greatest genius is telling us, you know, and stuff. And even in Impel Down, you know, we'll do it, and it's riling up the prisoners and stuff. And they bring up, like, why are we allowing Impel Down the prisoners to listen to this? And they're like, we don't really have a choice. All the snails around the world are doing this. We wouldn't have collected them in time anyways, and you know, there's dangers in doing that and stuff, so they just didn't bother, and now like the whole world's hearing the message anyway, so it's like, this is not something that we can stop, you know. And we're just seeing around the world that kind of stuff, like we've been seeing for many chapters now. And Kobe, what Kobe here is doing, a lot of people read this, the way I read it initially, the way I read this was, really, Kobe, out of all the pirates vying for the One Piece, he is the last one that needs to be stopped. If somebody in the world is going to get the One Piece, Luffy is one of the most harmless of all the terrible people to get their hands on the One Piece, if it's so damn dangerous, right? And so many people called Kobe out for this, like, how about the guy who you just were released from? How about you go and try to stop Blackbeard or you know, reform the Marines or some shit, you know? It's like, you're working for a corrupt, terrible government. But I must stop Luffy. You know, I work for a horrible organization that is under the thumb of terrible people who are willingly, you know, slave owners and all this stuff, and oppression and, you know, just common dictatorship 101. But it's Luffy that I gotta stop. You know, so a lot of people are bringing up comments like those and stuff like that. And there is a point. But Kobe is doing this because Luffy's his friend. In the same way, it's sort of the Roger and Garp dynamic between these two, and in a similar vein anyways. And we jump back to one of the first chapters when he first met. It might have even been chapter 1 where he mentions King of the Pirates, but you know, you'd have to make the whole world kneel to you. Don't tell me you're actually after the One Piece, you know what I mean? When Kobe first said, like Luffy said, I'm going to be King of the Pirates, and he's like, that's impossible, you know, and stuff. Kobe says, I have to stop you, Luffy, from achieving your dream. And the reason he says this, he's saying this as a friend, it's not because of Luffy's dream as a pirate. Colby needs to stop Luffy because it's from what Vegapunk has just told the world, the One Piece has weight, has power. It's not just a big pile of dragon's gold, you know what I mean? So the fact is that Luffy should not be the king of the world. Luffy, nobody should be the king of the world and stuff. Ironically, that Kobe does not know, but is working for the current king of the world and stuff. But obviously, if Kobe knew, he'd probably be against it. But Kobe is basically saying, it's almost an apology. I think what should have been said here, and once again, this could be slight translation issues or something, but what he should have said is, Luffy, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to stop you from achieving your dream. In the sense that nobody should get the One Piece, in Kobe's mind, right? That's sort of the angle he's going for here. I did see a couple of people mention something similar, but the majority were like making fun of Kobe for this and stuff. And yes, on my first read, I went, what the hell? Kobe, first off, you can't stop Luffy, even if you wanted to. And second, out of all people to stop getting the One Piece, you know? But we speak of this as though it's an inevitability, while Kobe is, I think, doing this as a friend thing. It's like, okay, now that we know more about the One Piece, it's not something that someone should obtain, so he wants to stop his friend from that path, but he's like, sort of, I'm sorry, your dream is not, it's not as sunshine and rainbows as we first thought. There are consequences to you doing this, and they could be very, very bad, so for the sake of the world, I'm going to have to stop you, sort of idea. That's what I think is happening here. It does not, because there's no sorry, there's no apology in the words, I think it didn't come across correct, and that's why most people, myself included, read this in the wrong tone, in the wrong context, though I don't think it's our fault. I think it could have been worded better or handled a little better here, but yeah, that's the way I'm actually taking it. So, and then we jump off to, I think, one of the best scenes. It's, once again, it's Buggy. It's Buggy. For some reason, he's got that, like, it's not Count of Monte Cristo or Phantom of the Opera. He's just got this crazy wide. He sort of reminded me of what's his name? Death from Soul Eater. The main guy. You know what I mean? He's just got this tall, lanky black suit thing, sort of idea. And I love Buggy's feeding into the crowd, but I think he is being legit, where he says, why are you dumbasses calling it my world? You don't really want it to be my world, right? You don't really want that. And they're like, what do you mean? He goes, isn't it our world? And the whole crowd goes nuts. They're just like, oh my god, we couldn't. You are, you know, Buggy D. Jesus, you know, the clown. You know, like, you are just the Messiah. You are our King. You are our Lord. You are our Savior. We will follow you anywhere, right? So, and they literally say, we will follow you. Like, if you didn't love him before, like, he just doubles and triples down. These people's, their heart is growing 3 sizes that day. You know what I mean? Every time Buggy opens his fucking mouth. So, I like this because I do think Buggy isn't just doing this for... I do believe that while Buggy would be fine with sitting on the throne sort of ideas and having everything like he currently does, he'd be fine with the title King of the Pirates and he would accept it. I think he is legit about, it wouldn't be my world, wouldn't it be our world? Like, if the Cross Guild gets the One Piece and stuff, we all share in that glory. We all, like, yeah, I get the title, but you know, I wouldn't be like, okay, now fuck all of you guys. It'd be like, no, now this is for us. You know what I mean? And I think Buggy is actually legit about that. He doesn't want to sit on the throne completely alone, if that makes sense. So yeah, he likes the admiration that he's getting right now. This is basically everything Buggy wanted, and he's just going to the top echelon of what he's currently got. So yeah, what I love is in the background, Crocodile and Mihawk just there. And Crocodile's like, sit down. And Buggy's like, okay, I'm so sorry. They just love me. I can't. You know, so Crocodile and Mihawk, like, after listening to all this, just, oh, well, we were going to have a nice long weekend, you know. Maybe make a batch of iced tea. It's getting hot out. Apparently, we're doing this now. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Mihawk and Crocodile right now, even though Mihawk has no desire for the One Piece. We already knew this many, many times. And Mihawk naysayers are always going to say stupid shit. But Crocodile, actually, this is part of his dream. You know, what it was. And it's still, to this day, sort of, I believe, to a degree, still is. Like most pirates that set out to sea. So, what I actually think here is that Mihawk and Crocodile are literally those guys. Like right now, it's a long weekend where I'm at, right? In Canada, where Monday is a holiday, so it's a long weekend. But any of you, it doesn't matter what long weekend. But have you ever had that friend or that thing that came up, a family, you know, your dad or you know your brother or whomever, an uncle, whatever? Someone says, okay, yeah, it's a nice long weekend, and you're thinking, oh man, I worked really hard, it'll be nice to relax on my Saturday and a Sunday, getting that free day. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get a few things done around the house, but I'm gonna take this for me. Maybe I'll, you know, cook a really nice big dinner, but I have all the time now, and but something relaxing. And then somebody hits you with the idea like Friday evening or Friday afternoon and says, yeah, so I'm thinking of building my deck where we have the long weekend. So remember you said you'd help. So yeah, bright and early, 8 a.m., you know, or when the roosters are already up, you know, let's get a move on that Saturday morning and stuff. And you're like, yeah, I know I promised that. And it does make logical sense to do it over the long weekend so we have plenty of time to get it done. You know, I'm building a deck, I'm building a shed, I'm restarting my house, I'm doing whatever. And you agreed to help. But then they drop it on you last minute right before a nice, long, relaxing weekend. And you're like, well, I was going to have a nice time. I was going to, you know, take this weekend for me. But I guess we're doing this shit now. That's literally what I'm getting from Mihawk and Crocodile's attitude right now. It's like, not that we hate what you're doing, but, you know, they're so done with this right now. So, yeah, I'm totally getting those vibes from them right now. Like, the tired help, you know, sort of idea, like, alright. And you know they can't do it without you. Like, Buggy can't do this without Crocodile and Mihawk's backing whatsoever. He needs both of them to even do anything right now with the cross skills and stuff. So, yeah, absolutely, Crocodile and Mihawk are essential. So they're like the guys, like, yeah, come help me build my deck. Have you ever built a deck before? No, that's why you're here to help, because you know what you're doing and I don't. And you're like, okay, so if I flake on them, the deck's not going to get built because they don't know, or it's going to be built wrong. So that is the exact vibe I'm getting from this whole scene. It's a great scene. It's a great scene. I love the cross guild. Cross guild's a lot of fun. And then we jump over to Caribou. You know, Katarina there, basically on a Denden Mushi to Blackbeard. We see Blackbeard and basically be like, yeah, we can kill him, leave him, stuff him in a barrel. You know, what do you want us to do here? He says he's got info for you. And Blackbeard's just like, yeah, bring him to me. You know, I mean, I can always kill him later if, you know, if his information sucks. So, yeah, bring him here, you know. And which is the smart thing to do, really, because Caribou actually does have valuable information for Teach. Now, this is where we jump back to Egghead on the battlefield and stuff like that. Of course, our Golem buddy, Emerith, is getting really hurt here and stuff like that. We see seemingly that the Denden Mushi inside of Emerith has finally been destroyed. And we see that the Thousand Sunny Wall trying to get away. That Ethan there is still chasing him on the pale death horse of the four horsemen of the apocalypse style. It's like, that horse guy's back, Zoro, and everyone's like, Zoro, do something, you know, because obviously on that ship right now, I think Zoro is pretty much the only one who would be able to clash with this guy right now on the Thousand Sunny. You know, yeah, I would easily make that argument. And Zoro's getting ready. He's like, huh, that Katetsu motherfucker, you know. So he's like, all right, I'm getting ready. I'm like, Zoro, this is bandana time. Draw all three swords bandana time because you're gonna need it. This is a Gorosei. He is strong as shit. So everyone's freaking out. Then we jump back to Emerith, who's just like, and Luffy shouting at him like, giant robot and stuff, and he's still speaking. You can hear the voice of all things, of course, so Luffy can hear all this, saying, I'm sorry, Joy Boy. I wanted to apologize to you too. I knew there was no chance that he would still be alive. And Luffy finally catches on, like, you think I'm this Joy Boy person? You mistaken me for somebody else? And Emerith's like, yeah, but it's just your look and you know, your bum ba-dum, 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 you know, that sound and everything is so nostalgic. All my feelings came rushing to the surface. You know, you look just like him and all that stuff, obviously, with the Nika powers and stuff. And he goes, I hope Joy Boy will find it to be able to forgive me because I failed to make him king. And we get this big double-page spread. There's the Viking ship. There's the Gorosei coming in. The Thousand Sunny is in the air. There's Emerith. There's all the Marines. It's this huge, beautiful, beautiful shot. And he says, I failed. And I was like, okay, did he betray him or whatever? No, he failed to make him king. So whatever war happened with the what was going to become today's world government, obviously Joy Boy failed at that time. He was supposed to be on the empty throne. He was supposed to be in Eames' position or something like that. And obviously anybody who aligned themselves with Joy Boy did fail. And he didn't betray him by the sounds of it anymore, which was a theory. He failed to make him the king. And, you know, Luffy's like, king? You know, what are you talking about and stuff? And that's, so then he asks Luffy, what is your name? And he says, what does he always say? My name is Monkey D. Luffy, and I'm the man who's gonna be the king of the pirates. And he's made of rubber. How did that happen? So this is where he asked his name. There's a knot, like a rope knot, inside of Emerith, and it just gets pulled, like the knot, it's been knotted, and then all of a sudden they pulled almost like a firecracker or holiday crackers or whatever, right? It's almost like the little thing, and snap, so the knot gets untied and the rope goes taut, and then we see little crackets of black lightning, and he says, he, hey Luffy, thank you. You let me hear that rhythm, you know, the heartbeat, that rhythm one last time. And he says, don't die. I won't let you die. And then we see the black lightning just slowly coming out. You know this is going to be done absolutely amazingly in the anime, of course. And then the black lightning's coming. Marines are passing out. Conquerors Haki. And just boom. A Conquerors Haki blast going beyond the island. The sky is split by this own, and whose Haki is it? It's Joy Boy's Haki, and it's holy shit. It's bigger than the entire island. It goes far and wide. It doesn't seem to affect any of the good folk, you know, any of the allies. It's targeting literally the or from what we understand anyways, we don't actually see this, but it's targeting all of the Marines, all of the combatants, so basically all the you know, the bad guys, and all the Marines are passing him. Even the Vice Admirals like Doll and stuff, who's still suffering from Bonnie's fruit, is just like, she's sweating and stuff, and we don't really see her, we only see her face and stuff. Is this Haki? It's so strong, and it's you know, it's just like, you know, so even she's like sweating. She's a Vice Admiral, and even she's like, she's not passed out like everybody else, but anybody below Vice Admiral is done. And even the Vice Admirals are like sweating, going, who's causing this massive Haki? It's so damn strong. And we know it's super strong because, holy shit. So, this thing manages, this Conqueror's Haki Blast is so powerful, it knocks the Gorosei out of all 4 of them that are left. All 4 are knocked out of their Devil Fruit forms, their awakened Devil Fruit forms, and 3 of them are sent back through the transmutation circle back to the top of the Red Line, back to Mary Joa, back to the room. And we see that, I think that's Mars. I know Ethan's the Samurai Gandhi, Saturn's the Spider. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Mars. Anyways, he's already there. He's sitting down on the couch or whatever, and he just looks like, And, they're all showing back off, and they're, like, huffing and puffing, like, holy shit, we just took a beating. Now, Saturn, of course, remained behind, and I want to talk about that for a minute, because a lot of people wondering about this. I don't think it was a time limit thing. A lot of people were saying it was a time limit thing. No, I don't think that. I think that once you accumulate, I'm thinking damage. I'm thinking, like, you can stress the power almost there. Like, they are there physically, but they're only there because of, once again, the transmutation circle. They were summoned in this teleportation way. So if they take enough of a hit, enough of damage, all at once, because obviously they have their regeneration and stuff, but if they take enough of an actual hit, that's obviously enough to blast them out of their forms, then it will eventually send them back. It's like the battery charge has reached 0, you know what I mean? And they're sent back through the transmutation circle. And I assume that this is not something they can keep pulling out. Maybe it's a Haki-based ability. Maybe it's specific to the Gorosei and Eam and stuff like that. But either way, that there are limitations. They can't just set up the transmutation circle, instantly teleport wherever they want to go in the world, and they can be there indefinitely. They were absolutely physically there at their full power and all this stuff. But give them enough of a Conqueror's Haki Blast, and they'll be sent right back through the portal. With obviously not being able to return just, boom, okay, you sent us back once, well, we'll just jump right back in the wormhole. No, it doesn't work that way. And the reason I think it's damage is because Mars is already there. Now, that would imply that the double attack that Luffy and Bonnie did was enough in one go to take Mars out. Or there's a it's either that, the only reason I say that is because the only other reason that Mars is already back there is one, I mean, I suppose he could have just flown back to Mary Joa in his bird form after getting smacked so far from Egghead, but why wouldn't he just go back to Egghead? I would still think no matter how far he flew, he'd still be closer to Egghead. So clearly Mars ended up coming through the teleporter. So the only other explanation for why Mars is already back would be, and this quickly, would be in my mind that he actually went outside of like a barrier. Like the transmutation circle has a finite distance, so they wouldn't have been able to, for example, get on the Viking ship and go all the way to Elbaf. It'd be like, nope, you're outside the limitations. When they summon them through the transmutation circles, there's almost like an invisible wall or barrier around it, and it's like, yeah, within the confines of here, we can teleport you, and you can run amok inside here, but it's only so big, sort of like Law's room. It's only so big a distance, so they can't just, transport to the East Blue and then go all the way back, on foot to somewhere around, you know what I mean? Like, there's a finite... That's possible, but it would actually make more sense damage-wise, because that's the reason these three were sent back through. It's like they took such a beating, such a massive hit at once, that the threshold of the transmutation ability can't keep up with that, and it sends them back on through. And we even see Eam, or Emu, or whatever, but the great Eam Sama, and is like just freaking out. It's just like, Joy Boy, he's huffing and puffing, down on her knees, and is just like crying to the heavens, like, "Wah!" And just, you know, and then we see one of the aides, which we've seen before. We know there are more people than just the 5 Gorosei who know about Eam. But yeah, going, "Great Emu, what is happening?" and blah blah blah. And it's just like, Jesus. So Eam's freaking out, obviously, for obvious reasons as well, because, you know, that's a Haki that has been long gone for 800 years. And it just beat the shit out of their top officers all at once, kicked their ass, and that Haki shouldn't exist in the world anymore. So Eam is just like, "Joy Boy?" Like, this is, you know, it's just freaking. So, yeah. So, for obvious reasons, that has made the calm and cool and collected, Rinnegan-eyed Eam drop to their knees and be like, "Holy shit, what happened?" So, then we reunite the Thousand Sun. He finally gets into the water. Luffy's like, "Yeah, you guys made it. This is fantastic." It's like, "What happened?" "No idea. All those big giant monsters, they disappeared." And we do get to see, with that big double page spread, we do get to see how large these devil fruit forms are. They are insanely huge. So yeah, this is where, you know, Dory and Broggy and everybody, like Chopper and Usopp, are just like, "Oh, thank you, Jinbei. Thank you so much for getting us here safely." You know, and everyone's like, Atlas and Edison, however, are gone and stuff, and there's nothing we can do about it now. And so Lilith is obviously still there. Saturn, of course, did not leave. Saturn is out of his, and seemingly fine, is standing there, is outside of his spider form. He hasn't gone back into it. He obviously was physically there to begin with, so he wouldn't be sent back through the portal. That makes total sense. He's the one who physically went there and did the summoning, so it just makes sense. Now, this is where he's just staring up at Emerith, just staring up at the giant Iron Giant, and we actually do get to see it's silhouetted, but we hear Joy Boy. Joy Boy is a normal-sized human, is not a buccaneer, is not a giant and stuff. What's the deal with the big hat? We don't know, for whatever reason. But maybe, you know, went into giant form like Luffy did against Kaido, sort of idea. And that's the hat when he died. That's what the hat was at the time, the size of the hat. I don't know. It's no different than, for some reason, the Kitetsu blade gets bigger or smaller based on the form that Ethan is taking. And it's like, I'm pretty sure swords don't work like that, but okay, right? So, anyways, we still don't know. I assume the hat is still Joy Boy's in the freezer room in Mary Joa. So, but we actually do see him. "Listen up, the time is at hand." And he's talking to Emerith, and he's remembering the time. "I'm going to gather my most powerful Haki, and I'm going to seal it inside of you. You're bound to outlive me, and I'm not always going to be around to help. But at some point, you're going to be in mortal danger, or someone you want to save will be. That's when you untie the knot." So obviously, this rope and the knot was there to hold the Haki in place. But he transferred... I don't know if we've seen this before. I mean, we have, to a degree, what Rayleigh and everybody does with the Ryuo, with the, you know, the advanced armament Haki, is they sort of send the Haki outwards into the object so they can get rid of it in a sense. But to actually store Haki like a bomb, which is what this is, everyone's calling it like the Haki explosion or the Haki bomb and stuff like that, right? I've seen both. And like what it's almost been confined into like a glass container, almost like that, and then it can burst forward. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this before. It's awesome. It's just, once again, Conqueror's Haki has always been the be-all and end-all. We already knew that. And but it's just, every time something like this happens, it's just confirmed more that if you don't have top-tier Conqueror's Haki, you're not in the top of the verse. It's just never going to be the case, because this shit is just the best. And Joy Boy says, like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you, like, my most powerful Haki. I'm going to store it in a container, which... Funnily enough, Odin's sword, Enma actually steals and stores Haki, and don't technically Black Blades. So, yeah, that one's interesting because it actually takes the Haki from Zoro. It steals the Haki. I don't think it steals it and it just goes out into the air. I think the sword takes the Haki like it's feeding. Like it eats it. Right? So I guess we have, and Mihawk did say you pour your Haki into the blade, it eventually turns the blade black. So yeah, actually we have sort of seen this with the swords. We've seen this with swords before, so it does have some precedence. I would argue that it's very similar to what you do with the swords. Except, you know, in this case it's just a piece of rope, whatever. And it's a seal that Emerith can break of his own free will. He can break it and unleash all that Haki. So Emerith is just like, wow, it sounds terrible if you won't be around and stuff. He says, so when the time is at hand, you'll be there to help. And he says, that's right. Whatever happens, I'll be saving you from here in the past, just like always. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, it's like, so even if I'm not there, this is reminding me so much Land Before Time vibes with the mother dying, Littlefoot's mom dying and stuff. It's just like, even if you can't see me, I'll still be there, no matter what sort of idea. It's one of those things, right? So he's like, no matter what happens, I'll still be there to save you. I'll still be there to help you. And Emerith just takes it like, that makes me happy. He goes, now it doesn't matter if you're dead, you'll always be with me sort of idea. You know, it's very getting me the Disney vibes, the Land Before vibes, like, you know, the parents always die, Mufasa dies and stuff. It's like, but I'm always with you in spirit, in your heart, you know, and that kind of stuff. And but Joy Boy says, but don't worry, that's not gonna happen for ages. I'm just preemptively, you know, getting this out of the way and stuff. So this is where Emerith says, I hope I don't get lonely, and starts laughing while dreaming of memories, and the eyes go down. Now we don't know if this means that Emerith has powered down or is dead. Hard to say, honestly, because the power, like the reason this thing woke up for the first time in forever is because of the Nika fruit. So, I mean, you know, was it conscious all 800 years? I mean, you know, they're like, I got a lot of questions for the Iron Giant. I got a lot of questions going on here. Now, we did get to see Joy Boy even in silhouette. That's the end of the chapter. It's awesome and everything like that. A lot of people thinking that Joy Boy there has a mechanical arm and a peg leg and an eye patch, and he's got it all. I don't see that. I think that Oda just drew it. He was trying to draw the, not the vanishing point, but the perception, the depth perception, and it just looks like his leg is really, really skinny right there. I think that's all it is, because both sides of them there are quite skinny and stuff like that, while the other sides are, you know, not buff, but they're also skinny. So I think it was just a depth perception thing that everyone's like, oh my god, he's got a peg leg and stuff. It's like, Zeph already got that, you know. The eye patch pirate, though, being Joy Boy, 100% can get behind that theory. But I wouldn't get why would he have a mechanical arm? We already have a kid for that. Zeph's already got the peg legs. So no, I think Joy Boy specifically, though some people did bring up maybe he's got all three. You know, he's got all the pirate tropes. He's got a parrot on his shoulder. You know, he's got a scar, an eye patch, this, that. He's got the hook like Crocodile and stuff. So anyways, but yeah, no, I didn't really get that from that one silhouette, but a lot of people are already theorizing that and stuff in the comments. So, but anyways, no, that chapter obviously was awesome. It was a really great chapter. I really enjoyed it, obviously, as you guys can tell, just rereading the chapter right now with you. And yeah, just the double page spread was awesome. The call out to the Haki bomb thing was amazing. Joy Boy, we got to actually see him and hear him and stuff like that. Confirmed to, I guess, be relatively human size, no bigger than like Shanks or Luffy or any of those guys. What does that mean for the hat, as I said? Or is it just that, like what I said, the items and clothing grows as they grow with the Nika powers, and that's the form he died in, so that's why the hat was that size at the time? Who knows? I have no idea. Or is the hat somebody else's? Maybe, because I would think that the hat that we see here is Luffy's hat. So why would the one in the freezer be Joy Boy's hat? Isn't that the hat Roger had? Roger had Joy Boy's hat. gave it to Shanks, and Shanks gave it to Luffy, and it was always Joy Boy's hat. I'd be better off. I'm thinking that the hat in the freezer isn't Joy Boy's hat, and the hat that we see here on Joy Boy's head is the one that Luffy is currently wearing to this day. So I kind of like that idea better. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Did you think that that was awesome? What's your theory as well as to the amount of Haki? Like, is it a time limit thing for the transmutation circle, which would be very, very odd. So are we going like with the Super Saiyan 3 logic that, oh, if they exert enough power or enough force, the time limit shrinks? You know, are we doing that thing, you know, the fusion thing with Vegeta and all that stuff? Are we doing that kind of idea? Like if they exert enough power or they take enough damage, the time, it's still a time limit, but it shrinks? Because that's pretty, I guess, coincidental if it was a time limit. And they just so happen to, just as they were about to win, they all get transported back. But they just so happen to also take a hit. So, but what is your theory? Is it the damage one? Is it something else for why they got hit back from Joy Boy's Haki? You know, or did the Haki destroy the transmutation circle, and that's the reason? But then why is Mars there? Yeah, there's questions here, obviously, but I thought the chapter was great. I really like the pacing of it. I love all the information we got. The flashback was cool. The spread was cool. Everything was cool about this chapter. It really was. So that's it for me, guys. I know it's a longer one, but I really wanted to talk about this chapter. There's a lot to discuss. And, of course, the cross-guild stuff was hilarious. Was just awesome. Buggy being Buggy and Crocodile and Mihawk just being like the guys about this, like, all right, I guess we got to deal with this situation now. You know, they are the very tired guys who know their shit and are just like, oh my god, why do I promise things? You know, like every time. So, anyways, have a good one, everyone. Hope you enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you back here for the next piece of One Piece. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate it. Thanks very much. Sayonara.